This is a horror movie about MILFs. Middle-aged women. Are they evil mommies trying to bite our buttons off? It's Lauren Hutton, who's also a vampire. And she has a butler and gay best friend named Sebastian. She's 400 years old, but she looks 42. And then he brings her blood in the morning. She comes out of her coffin, I guess in the evening. And she's like, well, this is good blood. But as we know, the plot of this movie is I need to bite a virgin 3 times before Halloween to stay youthful. But where are we going to find a virgin? It's the 80s. That's the statement. Everyone's a whore in the 80s. A lot of times when you talk about a virgin, the idea is it's someone who could have had sex. Really, it's someone who should have had sex. You're only a virgin if when you tell someone you're a virgin, they go, really? Like, you're only a virgin if your virginity is a fun fact. Like, if you say you're a virgin and they go, I hope so, then you're not a virgin. So we cut to the ice cream truck. Who is in the ice cream truck? But in his first ever starring role, Mr. Jim Carrey.
What?
And he's an 18-year-old virgin. And he's got a pretty girlfriend. They're in this area where it's like everyone in the cars is having sex. Robin, his girlfriend, she's like, look, I like you and I want to. I'm just not ready. I want it to be special. And so he goes to his wacky virgin buddies, Russ and Jamie. They work in this hamburger stand that looks like a clown face. And he's like, I don't know, guys. I feel like if I could just have sex with someone else, then I can just go back to my girlfriend and feel better about it. He goes to a bar in Hollywood where he meets the Countess. And they go to her place. She kind of gets him drunk. But the next scene is he's just passed out with his pants down. And she comes down with like a glass of juice. He wakes up and he's like, what happened? Did I do a good job? And she goes, let's just say you earned your juice. She's being like the mom now.
Yeah.
He's back at high school. He's having lunch. His virgin friends are there. He goes, hey man, did you go for the pokey? And he's like, I don't remember. What. Like, it's kind of traumatic for him. He's like, look, guys, I don't remember. I was MILF-lested. They should have called this movie MILF-lested. She finds him and bites him again. He tells her to leave him alone. He's becoming a vampire. So now it's the big Halloween dance. He doesn't wear a costume, but everyone's like, oh, you're a vampire. And she's Jill. Jack and Jill who went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Mm-hmm. Jack fell down and broke his crown. And then she fell down too. What a fucked up story that is. Maybe this is just how they did the news back then. and like in a rhyme. Maybe this was the first news story. We were all down in the valley. Yeah. And then there's a hill. This just in. They should do the news in nursery form every time. Jill and Sue had a job to do. They did it on an island. But the Epstein list does not exist. And if you think it does, you're lying. And other news. So we go to the big dance. Everyone's dancing and wearing costumes. His friends are Pinocchio and Gandhi. One went as Gandhi, and the other went as the lies of Gandhi. Then he wins for best costume for vampire, and he's like, I'm not a vampire. And he runs out, but then he tells her he thinks he's becoming a vampire. And she looks and sees that she can't see him in the mirror, and she's like, it's true. So she does what you would do, because back then there was no internet. So you would just go to the nearest used bookstore and ask the old guy behind the counter what to do. This old guy, he's a white guy. For some reason, he's doing an Indian accent. At the party, his friend was dressed like Gandhi, and everyone thought it was a costume. But they also thought Jim Carrey's becoming a vampire was a costume. This is a community where people are both becoming vampires and becoming Indian guys. The Indian guy says, goodness gracious, a vampire! He's very excited about it. And he shows her a book that says, a female vampire, she's probably trying to stay young by biting the inside of his thigh by his dick. So that's how we'll know if that's what this is. This is when she goes to his friends, and she's like, this guy who was pretending to be Indian told me. She doesn't say the vampire thing. She goes, There's a problem with Mark, and they go, STD? And she goes, kinda. Could you check him for some sores on his inner thigh? So they're like, I guess. And she's like, well, are you his friends or not? I'd do it, but he keeps trying to fuck me. So this is the big scene where they're in the shower, and then the one guy comes behind Jim Carrey. He grabs him from behind. He's like, look at his thighs. And Jim Carrey's like, I'm being attacked. But then the other guy's got soap in his eyes, so he's like, well, I guess I'll just have to feel.
Oh, no, God.
So then, of course, someone yells, alert, alert.
What?
He issues the alert. Gay's in the shower. So then everyone like runs out of the shower.
Uh-huh.
This is two men attacking a third man.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's gay. Run away from the gay. They don't think it was their fault. They walked into a cloud of gay and started acting gay. Yeah, it is kind of like it's going to get them. It's like a fog that turns you gay. They're like, we just got over the fog that was turning people Indian. Now a gay fog? So now we're back at Clownface Burger. They're like, everyone at school thinks we're gay. So then Jim Carrey shows up and he goes, guys, why didn't you just ask?
Yeah.
And he goes, fuck. Robin comes to visit him, but then they see the chauffeur takes Robin to the Countess's mansion. So now vampire Jim Carrey and the gay burger boys, they're going to go rescue her. Her vampire goons. They grab them all, and now they're going to have the ceremony. Now it's time for the third bite of Jim Carrey. But when he gets bit the third time, he'll turn into a vampire forever. And he's kind of hypnotized. He's not really, he's kind of like, okay, this will be fun. Then him wanting to fuck Robin snaps him out of it again. They grab him, they run out of there. Now there's just a large chase scene. They're chasing him. They lose track of him. They run into the coffin room. The coffin is shaking. Lid pops open. And she's like, you did have sex. The clock strikes midnight. Now it's Halloween. She has not had her third bite in the year. Magic starts to happen to her face. And we're like, now we're going to see her hideous true form. But she gets like 5 years older. The monster in this movie is women aging. This is a horror movie about a girl saving the day by having sex. But also in horror movies, as soon as you have sex, then Jason comes by and stabs you to death.
Yeah.
So as a woman in a horror movie, you really have to walk a fine line. You're navigating the MILF vampires of virginity and the hockey mask stabbing of being a big old whore. Not to mention the shower prison rape of friendship. I mean, you just can't win. I guess that's for the men. Yeah. A woman shower would have been a much different alert.
Yeah.
Here's the gay alert in a woman shower. Shh. Don't scare him. Maybe it's also kind of a movie about post-nut clarity. Because as soon as Jim Carrey comes, he's like, is that how fucking old that lady's been? Maybe that's the magic. It's the magic of him going like, I tried to fuck that. Is that what a woman in her 40s looks like? So this was Jim Carrey's first starring role. There are little hints in this movie of the kind of physical humor that we would later come to expect from Jim Carrey. But there's just little glimmers of it. But imagine the plot of this movie with the Jim Carrey of 94, but the same movie. Imagine how amazing and confusing a fag alert would be if it was issued out of Jim Carrey's talking asshole. Hey, gay buddy, I think these guys are gay. Run! Get out of here, everybody! We were rooting for a guy to lose his virginity. Any movie would be better if the main character was also just trying to lose his virginity.
Goodfellas?
For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to get laid. Karen, that was all of our pussy. Karen, what are you doing? You got rid of all the pussy, Karen.
There will be blood?
There will be cum. Now, if I told you I was a virgin, you would agree. The whole movie is he's trying to get rich. He's trying to do right by his adopted son. He's trying to beat the preacher. And then at the very end, he beats the preacher to death with a bowling pin, and he's sitting there, and he's like, now I'm ready for sex. I've done it. I've had my milkshake. I'm ready for pussy. The past was doing its best.
That's the theme song.
Leave him alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. They were doing their best.